You fall asleep fine. That part is easy. Then your eyes open, and the clock says 3:12 in the morning, or 2:45, or 1:08, and you are wide awake. Not anxious exactly, just awake. And the next thought is the one that starts the trouble. Here we go again. That waking moment is not a problem yet. It becomes a problem in the 30 seconds after your eyes open. What you do in those 30 seconds decides whether you go back to sleep or lie there until the alarm. Let's start with what is actually happening in your brain at 3 a.m. Everyone goes through sleep cycles. Each cycle is about 90 minutes long. You move from light sleep to deep sleep to something called REM sleep where you dream. Between cycles, there is a natural moment of near wakefulness. Your brain activity shifts. Your heart rate changes. You might shift your position. This happens 4 or 5 times a night. Most people never remember these moments because they fall right back into the next cycle. But someone with sleep maintenance insomnia does not fall back. They wake up fully, and that is where the mechanism lives. There is a state called hyperarousal. The best way to think about it is a brain that stays too alert even when the body is ready for rest. In people with chronic insomnia, researchers have measured higher heart rates during sleep onset and more fast brainwave activity during what should be quiet sleep. A 2021 meta-analysis in Sleep Medicine Reviews looked at 43 studies and found that this hyperarousal is measurable at night and during the day. The brain is not shutting down all the way. It is waiting for something. It is listening for a threat that is not there. So you wake up at 3 a.m. That is normal. But because your brain is already in a state of higher alert, the waking moment does not fade. It sharpens. And then a new problem walks into the room. You look at the clock and think, I have to be up in 3 hours. That thought is not a neutral observation. That thought is the switch that turns maintenance insomnia from a sleep problem into a worry problem.
The worry about being awake keeps you awake. That is not a metaphor. That is the actual neurobiology of how your brain processes threat.
Here's the part that changes everything. If you are someone who wakes up and stays awake, you have probably tried everything. You stay in bed and wait for sleep to come back. You count breaths. You try to force your brain to be quiet. None of it works, because forcing is the opposite of sleep. Sleep is not something you can make happen. Sleep is something you have to let happen. And the person who is lying there trying to fall asleep is doing the exact thing that keeps the hyperarousal system engaged. A 2015 study from the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine followed people with chronic insomnia through a treatment called sleep restriction therapy. This is not a pill. It is a behavior change. And the results were striking.
About 70 to 80% of patients showed significant improvement in how long they stayed asleep. Here is how it works. You start by limiting the time you spend in bed to the actual amount of sleep you are getting. If you are in bed for 8 hours but only sleeping 5, you restrict your time in bed to 5 hours. You go to bed later. You get up at the same time every day, no matter how tired you are. Over time, your sleep becomes more efficient. Your brain relearns that the bed is for sleeping, not for lying awake worrying. Then you slowly add more time.
Most people hear this and think that sounds cruel. You want me to spend less time in bed when I am already exhausted? Yes, because what is happening now is not working.
The person who stays in bed for 9 hours but only sleeps 5 has taught their brain to be awake in that bed. The bed becomes a cue for wakefulness, not rest. Sleep restriction breaks that association. Another piece of the fix is what sleep specialists call stimulus control. If you have been awake in bed for 20 minutes, get up, go to another room, sit in low light. Read something boring. Do not look at your phone. Do not turn on the television. Do not eat. Wait until you feel genuinely sleepy, not just tired but sleepy. Then go back to bed. If you are still awake after 20 more minutes, get up again. This sounds like it will make you more tired. In the short term, it might. But over 1 to 2 weeks, your brain starts to understand that the bed is only for sleep. And the person who is exhausted enough to follow this rule is the person who gets their sleep back. You might be thinking, what about medication? That is a fair question. Prescription sleep aids like zolpidem and isoprolol work for some people in the short term. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine guidelines note that these medications can improve sleep onset and maintenance, but they come with side effects, including next-day drowsiness and the risk of dependence.
They also do not fix the underlying hyperarousal. When you stop the medication, the insomnia often comes back. Melatonin is not effective for sleep maintenance insomnia.
Melatonin helps with the timing of sleep onset, not with staying asleep. The strongest evidence for long-term improvement is behavioral. That is what the clinical trials keep showing.
Let us stop here for a moment. If you've been dealing with this for months or years, you might have started to believe something is wrong with you. That is not true. What is happening is a learned pattern. Your brain learned to wake up and stay awake.
And what a brain learns, it can unlearn. That is not a hopeful phrase to make you feel better. That is the actual conclusion from decades of insomnia research. So what do you actually do starting tomorrow? First, set a fixed wake-up time, the same time every single day, including weekends. Second, do not go to bed until you feel sleepy. Third, if you wake up at 3 a.m., do not check the time. Turn your clock away from the bed. Fourth, if you have been awake for what feels like 20 minutes, get up. One more thing that matters. Alcohol is terrible for sleep maintenance. A drink or two might help you fall asleep faster, but as your liver processes the alcohol, your sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 hours. That means if you have coffee at 2 p.m., a quarter of that caffeine is still in your system at midnight. You might be someone who has tried all of this. That is when it is time to talk to a sleep specialist. There are conditions like sleep apnea that cause middle-of-the-night waking.
If you have been carrying this alone, you are not. The person searching "Why do I keep waking up at 3 a.m." is not alone. This is exactly what we do here at Pharmacist Online. Subscribe if you want more of the mechanism and the fix.
What matters is what happens in the 30 seconds after your eyes open. Do not check the clock. Do not start the math. If you are awake enough to notice you are awake, get up. Sleep will find you. It always does.